Okay. Getting out of an arrogant energy, putting on some humility, because I don't want to be in a position of bragging. The universe already told me to cut it out the second that I started to. But I have been talking to the universe all day, and I'm calling judgment, officially calling judgment. So I needed to put it out there that I'm officially calling judgment in this situation. Those that have been lying and cheating and stealing, those that have been cloaking their energy and their ill intent, those that have been hiding behind masks, those that have been celebrating the downfall of others, those that have been manipulating and trying to block and poisoning and committing atrocities. Those that have cared more about the appearance of things than the actual truth of things. Those that have no sense of integrity. Those that have been waging war. Those that have cared more about money and numbers than people and their genuine responsibility to themselves. I'm calling judgment, divine judgment, on these people. Obviously, I can only do so on those that are attached to me in any degree. I have recognized for the last few days, actually it's been the last couple weeks, but especially for the last couple weeks, I could feel certain energies attempting to attach to me, to connect to me, and they were doing it in an old way, which was, if they could attach to me, even in my subconscious or my dream state, and if I would attach to them or allow that attachment in any sort of way, even just emotionally, that they would then latch on and, like a vampire, be able to harness my energy, and they've been using that for their own benefits. Well, I've learned from that, and I was able to block that in different degrees. And the last time that I blocked it was in a dream with my stepdad, and his face in this dream kind of haunted me for the day. In my subconscious state, because I've learned how to block things, I don't always do it. I'm not always the best at it. Obviously, I'm weakest when I'm in my subconscious state, and if I have certain attachments and certain emotions, I'm still easy to be preyed on to a degree, or I have been at least, right? The last couple days, I've really been pulling my energy in and calling my power back and blocking these things and blocking these different energies. And the universe has allowed that, but what my ancestors have done as well is left a space open in order for this energy to continue to be attached to me, because my ancestors can see further than me. The universe knows what's going on, knows the energies that are being manipulated within it, and knew what was going to be happening. So like I had said in a previous reading about how, like, the FBI will, like, if it's on somebody's tail, like, it will let them continue to do things just because they're catching themselves up. Like, it's just, you're racking up judgment against you at this point. It's not the judgment isn't coming. It's that they're just going to let you see, they're going to see how far you're willing to go, because then they can catch you on all of those things. Why would they throw you away for 30 years if they can throw you away for life? sort of deal. And if you're given to those sort of things, they're going to let you just to prove it. And I've recognized that I'm a tool for that karma, and I've accepted that, and I've, you know, in receiving that, have constantly had to eat my own karma immediately. You know, I don't get to hide from it. I don't get to run from it. I have to be exposed constantly, and I am. And I am completely open to being held accountable, to being exposed. It's not that I'm proud of everything that I've done or that I am. I'm learning how to be by removing certain attachments and moving in different directions, but it's not about me feeling a type of way or me being proud of a certain type of thing or me being perceived a certain way. It's about the truth being exposed. And so as I've embraced that, I've been used as this tool to kind of catch people up in their own karma. And what I noticed within the last few days is that whoever these attachments belong to or are, like whoever's doing this, the way that they had done it, like I said prior, was that they were exploiting my empathy, essentially, and they were exploiting my connection with them, and they were binding themselves to me in different ways by playing in my face, and as soon as there was any sort of attachment, they started feasting off of me energetically. And so as I started to block that, they learned another thing, you know, and it's great that they're always learning. That's great. I just wish that you would apply it into something actually beneficial to you in the end. But your soul needs cleansing, so karma it is. So what they've done is, by attaching themselves to me, now initially it was just, it was an illusion, and they were, you know, secretly doing this thing behind my back, but as I became keen to that, what they started doing was using the attachment to, they were like, okay, if I can't, because what they would do with that attachment as well, like a parasite, right? So they weren't just feeding off of me, they were also trying to transfer toxins. And sometimes it would work, sometimes it wouldn't. There's been times that I've been poisoned that people have been like, they were trying to kill me, and the fact that I didn't die or didn't get sick has absolutely blew their mind. So they're like, okay, well, let's figure this out. How do we get her? How do we get to that person? Because our ways aren't working. And so, you know, they found that like the closer that they could get to me, the easier it was to transfer those toxins. And so they've maintained these attachments in order to do so. And when that stopped working recently, you know, they had a few attempts that I've been brushing off different attempts for a minute, but specifically lately, they're like, okay, I really don't know where to go from here. I feel like I've tried everything. And then they found themselves in jealousy over my capacity to heal myself and to heal others, and jealous that like people still want to connect with me in a healthy way and that I can build healthy connections. Jealous that I'm not dead, essentially. And so they're like, okay, well then we just want what she's got. Like, not even to keep it from me necessarily. In fact, they opened up the gate so that I could start receiving in abundance so that they could receive of it, right? And that's been going on for a long time too. I haven't always been privy to it, but like that is something that's been going on, where like they attach themselves to me as a parasite and then make a space for me to receive a certain abundance so that they can harvest that abundance. You know, it isn't so that I end up abundant, it's so that they can harvest it. And I realized that within the last couple days that like that's what that energy was doing, specifically in my subconscious, was that it was like destiny transferring, right? Like, okay, then move towards your destiny and we're going to steal it from you subconsciously. You know, we're not just trying to hurt you and to block you. That kind of got alleviated to some degree. And yet I recognized that I wasn't receiving my full abundance. And instead of questioning it, I've just continued being patient and trusting that the universe knows what the fuck is up, and that it will direct me as need be, and if I listen to it, everything will fall into place the way that it needs to. And so I've been watching that happening, and okay, so then for the last few days, specifically, that was what was being done. So, like, this other energy I can sense is, like, getting sick, physically, mentally. They're depleting. They are breaking down. And they're not having a good time about that. And people have started to notice it. Like, it's getting bad. It's getting bad to the point that people have started to notice, and other people have started to, like, put it back on them. And so that's all of this energy that they'd always try to put on me, and all of these different things that I've had to endure under their energetic transference is now being returned back to them because of this attachment to me, right? And so they started trying to work with the attachment differently so that they wouldn't receive their negative karma through me, and that they could continue to feast off of me and receive my blessings. And so in that, they started doing like a heavier destiny transference where like they, were trying to keep me from feeling well about myself, doing well for myself, taking care of myself, eating well, sleeping well, those types of things, right? Caring for myself in general. It started with a heavy sexual energy, trying to get me to engage in lower vibrational sexual engagements. And when that didn't work, as much as they tried, and as tempted as I was when that didn't work, then it immediately moved to my self-discipline in general, which was like the weakest thing I have self-discipline with is my exercising. So I haven't been exercising as much as I should. Haven't been doing my yoga like I normally would. So they were attacking that. And then my eating habits, right? Because those are the things that I've been able to use to like keep me grounded and to make me feel good and to really help me thrive. Even when like other things aren't in alignment, those very basic essentials will help keep you grounded and in alignment and in a healthy position. So they started preying on those things. And when I made allowances, which like I know better, but I did like make allowances for like, I had gone out and I had a Red Bull, which I haven't had in 2 months. And so it was like that sort of thing. I had a beer and a whiskey. And a week prior, I had 2 glasses of wine. And a week prior to that, I had 3 glasses of wine. So, like, I haven't been smoking pot, which I love, but have not been. But those are things that, like, it's not that I've sworn them off or that I care to be, like, entirely sober for the rest of my life. Like, I like chemicals. Certain ones, I like feeling types of ways. I don't like being out of control by any stretch of the imagination. I really don't. I like maintaining my sense of control over myself, but I do like engaging with certain things. I like smoking pot. I like doing small amounts of shrooms at times. I've only done them a handful of times. I've always really enjoyed them. I did Molly for the first time this year once, and I really loved it. I very much enjoyed it. I wouldn't have a problem doing that again. Don't really have a desire to ever do coke again or anything like that. I've done ketamine because other people were doing it. The first time I was given it, I thought I was doing coke, and I was actually doing ketamine. I don't like it. Not a fan. I don't like the people that do it, to be honest. It's not that I don't like them, but like I'm just not into it like that. I'm not a horse, and I don't need to be tranquilized. And like even like caffeine, I've tried to cut down on, like drinking coffee throughout the day, okay, but like that's really where I need to keep my limit. I'm not trying to be Red Bulling out here, because I tend to just abuse it. Same thing with drinking. I have alcoholism in my blood, and so although I've never been given to drinking, it's very easy for me to be given to it if I were to choose to, so I just choose not to. I don't want to ever smoke cigarettes again. They're fucking terrible for me. They're terrible for me. So like, I don't have a problem doing things, but I also like don't want to do certain things. And I like this idea of being mostly sober, and just having a strong discipline. I very much enjoyed, honestly, not having sex. 'Cause that's always been a big one for me. And when I'm engaging, then I tend to fall into worse behaviors, where it's just such a low energy transference to a lot of degrees. So like, I'm quite happy not engaging that way. But as as those things are affected, like, it does put me in a lower energy state to some degree, to the point where then I had that dream about my stepdad, where the dream itself was great, because I was just levitating around and I was kind of showing off. But that was what the universe was like, hey, quit being a dick. Like, quit bragging about me, the universe, right? Like, you're just a tool. This isn't about you, right? I can feel good. I can feel excited. I can know that things are being taken care of. I can be proud of myself for having gone through this work and for like doing as well as I am. But it's still not like me that's doing it. It's the universe doing it through me, and I'm just trusting it and I'm allowing it, which is great. It's great to make those allowances and to be that humble, but like, that's not something you can't brag about being humble. You know what I mean? Like, it just defeats the purpose entirely. So, I've been reminded to work on these things and to do these things more consistently and to keep on top of different stuff. So I walked 3 miles today. I did do that, and I ate very well today, and I took care of myself today. And those things are important to me. It's important to me to take care of myself and to feel good about myself, but especially when I know I'm being attacked energetically and I know people are trying to harness off of me. So the thing about it was that what had been done for the last few days was that, like, I could feel this energy preying on me. And so what I've been doing, and like, it wasn't even intentionally, it was just I recognized it, was that, like, I was like, and I didn't know why, for the whole past week, like, I've been like 4 days or so, 5 days, I was staying up until like 5 a.m., like literally 5 o'clock in the morning, and then only sleeping until like 10, because I don't want to sleep the entire day away. There was one day I slept until like noon, and I don't like sleeping. I don't even like getting up at 10. I like getting up earlier, so like, I don't like being asleep the whole time. So then I'd be very tired, but then I would stay up again until 5. I'd be tired by like 7 o'clock, 9 o'clock, but I continued to stay up. And as I was talking to somebody the other day and kind of giving them advice about things I had brought up, the importance of being healthy and disciplined about certain things, and part of that was having a good sleep schedule, and I kind of felt guilty saying it out loud, because I was like, well, I know I haven't been doing that, but then I realized that it was for a purpose, and I was like, I generally do that, but like, there's a reason that I'm being kept awake for this period of time and then sleeping at other times. And I kept hearing in my meditations this idea that energy in of itself was struggling to sleep, and was very frustrated and very angry and very embittered about that, and that they were getting sick and getting ill. And I was like, well, what is this talking about? Me? Is it me this whole time? Like, is it me? What can I do? What can I do? Like, how, if it is me, what do I need to do to not be this person? The universe is like, it's not you. You've already done the work. Please just trust that you've already done the work. Keep trusting that you've already done the work. Like, it's great that you want to be so humble. Be humble then. Then be humble. But like, when we're telling you these things, it's not because we need you to do anything. We're trying to show you what's going on so that you can step back and let it be done. It's like, okay, so I have to trust, like, not that I'm not the bad guy. I'm not fucking perfect. I'm not out here and like, it's not, but, it's not, it's not like it's my place where like I'm out here trying to like call people out, per se, but I've been directed today to call judgment, like officially to call judgment on these energies and these things, and the people involved with them. And so, like, it's very important for me to point out that, like, this isn't coming from me being like, oh, I'm so much better than you and you're getting judged. Like, it's not like that. Judgment is for all of us. The only reason that some people stand in front of it and some people are behind it while it's happening are because that's where they've allowed themselves to be positioned. They've listened to the universe and they've done their work and they've ended up in a different position. If you are before judgment as it's calling, it's looking at you and it's calling judgment on you. If you're behind it, it's calling judgment on your behalf. You know, and part of that is like you have to be humble. You can't be standing there being like, oh, I'm right here with you. Like you're going to get caught up in that judgment right along with everybody else. You know, so it's important to stay back and let these things take their toll. I've already paid my tolls. I've already paid my dues. So I don't need to be right there at the fence shouting like a dog about it, right? So that's not what I'm trying to do. But it is important that I point this out officially, because what I was told that was that in my faith, when I say these things, it's going to validate these things as it happens. Not that it's me causing these things to happen. They've already been in the works. It's the consequence of action. Has nothing to do with me whatsoever. But it's important that I do what I'm called to do, and that it's in order to show that the things that I've been saying are valid, that I'm not just out here saying crazy shit. I say a lot of crazy things, I get it. A lot of stuff that, you know, is only for very specific people. I'm also like, I mean, I'm not a great comedian. I've only done stand-up a few times, but like, I am a comedian, you know? I think most people in the Midwest are. I like making jokes. I say a lot of crazy shit. Like, it's not like that. But when it comes to these specific things, like, those who know, know. Those who have ears to hear, hear it. It's for such a long time, every single thing I've ever done or said has been being held against me, used against me, turned around and manipulated in such a way that I've been made out to be something that I'm not. And so it's very important that I vocalize these things as I'm seeing them, and as I'm being called to, in order to validate that, like, it is what it is, you know, and it isn't, it's like, I don't need to defend myself. This is about, it's already happening. It's already happening. The universe is defending me. And through others, there's other people that are involved that I don't necessarily even know, that are taking up on the side of truth and are revealing those things. And it's been important that I've stayed back and not try to force a lot of things and not said a lot of things this entire time. A lot of what I talk about tends to seem very vague. Those that are involved know exactly what I'm saying. So it's for those people, right? And if it's something that you can take from, by all means, then it's for you. But, like, I've just been doing what I've been called to do, and this is part of it. Okay. That's the best I got when it comes to that. I really don't know what else to say about it. Shut up. For as much as I've been called not to speak, it's wild how much I've been called to speak too. Okay. So okay. I don't know about all that. Thank you. Okay. I will show you the way I have this real quick. Okay. those cards are turned over, these cards will be our clarifiers. We have the Knight of Wands in the upright, the Queen of Cups in the reverse, and the Two of Swords in the upright. In this Knight of Wands, it's an archer that's also a mage, an archmage. An archer mage. Archmage means like high mage, but this is an archer and a mage. They're riding on this deer out in the woods, right? But they have this arrow that's being held up with magic instead of having a bow. And at first I thought that they had like night vision glasses. That's what it looked like. But it's actually that they're just all green and they have a mask on and they have like cat eyes. So they have night vision goggles on. They just happen to be their actual eyes. They have horns. It has this pan energy. I'm getting like that this person is suspicious to me though. Sagittarius. They have this weapon and they have it with their magic, and it's like they have this magic glove on where the magic is coming from. They have a mask on, right? Like they have this energy of like being seemingly natural, being seemingly like you wouldn't have necessarily noticed them that way because they're part of the scenery. But they're a hunter and an archer and a mage. And they're on the hunt. They have their eyes like this. And then we have the Queen of Cups in the reverse. The Queen of Cups in this upright is a nurse with a baby. It's a nurse with a baby. But in the reverse, it's like the opposite of carrying energy. It's like a motherly energy, but this is like not a motherly energy. This is, at first I thought it was an old woman, but it's not necessarily an old woman. But technically it is, because it actually is a young woman in the card, and the card's in reverse. So it's giving me this energy of like old maid or like mother, like a toxic mother. And the Two of Swords in the upright. For a second it looked like it was a party, but this isn't a party. It only looks like a party because everybody's made out of candy. But everybody here is really upset and scared. The kids are crying and screaming. This one woman's absolutely freaking out. The dog thinks it's funny. But everybody looks very nervous and disturbed. There's a dark cloaked man in the background that just seems somewhat unhappy. But this bagel is blindfolded and is carrying two different shovels. One of the shovels is for edging, is for creating straight lines, and one of the shovels is for digging. And he's got this blindfold, and it almost is like it's giving me the vibes of like, okay, right, like I thought it was a party. It's giving me these vibes of like if you had set up a piñata and then given the weapon to beat the piñata to somebody who just like, maybe they're drunk or, they're just irresponsible, and they're like, they've become a threat. Okay. And everybody's really upset about that. And there's like this worm, this gummy worm that's like, he doesn't look, he looks like he's dying. He doesn't look fully terribly alive. And it's almost like this bagel is like unaware that this is what's happening, right? He seems very intent on what he's doing, and because he's in the, like, middle of spinning, it almost seems like, and he, you know, his ears are covered, his eyes are covered, so, like, he's not aware that he's a threat. It is funny to me, like, you can't really see it in this thing just because it's so, but, like, this woman's, like, freaking out, and then there's this dog here that's, like, smiling at her. The dog seems totally fine with the fact that this woman is freaking out. Then you got this, like, mustached cupcake that's, like, trying to stop everything. There's a cracker nurse, a cake nurse, big old cake nurse. It's, like, disturbed. But then there's, like, this, like, scientist, this, like, he has a chocolate cone. He's a chocolate cone, but, like, he looks kind of shitty. Like, he's got a shit head. And he's, like, a scientist, and he's, like, yelling, like, stop, you have to stop this. And all the kids are just freaking out. Except this one that's, like... Then there's, like, this little upside-down blueberry cone that's, like... giving me this energy of, like... because there's so much chaos going on, and because they're just, like, a kid, like... they have their eyes closed, and they're just, like, punching everything. They're just like, oh, we're fighting? Then there's, like, this melted butterscotch guy in the background that's just, like, melting. Like, I can't believe this is happening. And there's a cookie right behind the bagel that's just looking very nervous. This is funny to me. This is funny to me. There is a crescent moon, so we are talking about, like, energy. And it's not even, like, dark out in the card. So, like, it's giving me almost like the time is coming. Like, it's like a phase, right? And it's like... it just seems like there's a lot of chaos going on, and the people are all, like, freaking out and, like, don't really know what to do about it. But, like, in the background, like, it's part of a phase. Like, it's supposed to happen. This is the time and place for this to be happening. And it's involving this toxic mother energy and this sneaky hunter energy. And then we have the Eight of Wands in the reverse. And in the upright, the Eight of Wands is, like, got this handmade guitar. And it's like he's running in the same direction. Is there 3? Wait, 3, 6, 7, 8. So there's 7 wands being directed in a certain position, like a certain direction. And then his guitar is also a wand. So these are all, like, different forms of magic being used. But, like, his head is cracked. His head is cracked. And in the reverse, it's giving me this feeling of, like, he's not using that guitar. And none of this magic is working. It's just not working. So then I have these 2 oracle cards that are intuition, beautiful, intuition in the upright, and you can see that it's, like, got these tears, and then it's holding the moon, and then grill in the reverse. I want to look that up because it looks like it's, like, I don't know that word because it's spelled with an E at the end, and I'm not sure what to think about it. So we're gonna look it up. Might be French, or I might just not know that word. That is how you spell grill? I think it's just the European way to spell it. Ah, okay, so when it's spelled with an E, it's referencing specifically the protective and ornamental frameworks typically used in automotive and architectural situations, and it's generally a noun, where grill without an E is referring to like culinary, like a culinary grill, cooking on a grill, grilling something. That this is, and that's where the symbol, you know, that on the hand. Interesting. And for it to be in the reverse. I'm gonna wait on that one because this character is also giving me weird vibes. So we'll wait on that. I like this card. This is funny to me. So utter chaos is ensuing because this one person was handed specific tools, and I don't think they're using them the right way. And that's funny to me. But apparently I'm the only one finding this funny out here as I'm looking at it from the third perspective, because everybody involved is freaking out. Which is still funny to me. I'm not trying to be a dick, and I'm not, like, bragging or boasting. Intuition is just reminding me, like, I'm the one on the outside looking at this, so, like, this is a situation that's happening with people that, like, it's not happening to me. It's not happening to me. So I'm not trying to, like, celebrate somebody else's downfall as they were trying to celebrate mine, right? That's not... It's just funny to me how karma works. Okay, this intuition card, though, is reminding me to be humble. This is the left hand. Okay, the left hand is the receiving hand, right? And what is in the left hand? Well, one, they're holding the moon, which is emotions. And the eye is also crying, which is something that, like, often when I draw eyes, like when I draw a singular eye or when I draw eyes on myself, lately I haven't really done it. Actually, lately when I have an eye, I've been putting rays around it. It often has rays around it. That's how I've been drawing them lately. But for years, the way that I had been drawing them was with a tear. And often the tear would have, like, a star sparkle in it. And to me, that always resonated as this idea of, like, being a phoenix, where the phoenix, you know, dissolves into itself and into its tears are healing, and it dissolves into itself, but then is rebuilt up because of that. And so it was always, like, this sign of, like, divine emotion in that way, of, like, divine expression, rather. And that it's good to cry. It's like a cleansing, healing thing, and it was kind of a sign of empathy. It was like divine empathy. Humility, you know, those types of things. The 3 tiers is giving, like, 3 tiers, right? Like tears. And it's that there's levels to these things. And, you know, I'm sitting here laughing because it does look funny, but, like, when we really get into the depth of what's happening, like, it's not funny. Okay, ultimately ends up being funny again. But there's this need to, like, I mean, it's funny, like, in the way that, like, the most tragic things that have ever happened to me were not funny while I was experiencing them, but then, like, looking back on them now that I've healed from them, I can laugh at them. But there was this process of healing that needed to happen, and that's not happening yet here. This is very much karma happening, and so this is, like, people hitting their rock bottoms, you know, and people having their... Last year I lost everything. That wasn't, like, a fun time for me. There were people that were celebrating my downfall about that, and that was wicked of them. So, like, it's just as wicked for me to, you know, not be able to look deeper than that and to be able to understand that, like, this is part of the healing process, and this isn't the time for laughter. This isn't the time to have fun with it. This is judgment being called, you know? This is divine judgment, and it isn't easy, and it isn't fun, and it fucking sucks, and it hurts. You know? My divine judgment was a bitch. I earned it. You've earned this divine judgment, but that still doesn't mean that I have any right to, like, rub it in your face, or to take some pride in it, or to find myself with any joy about it yet, you know, when that wouldn't make me any different than what you were to do the same to me. So, like, it's important to recognize the whole picture, right? The whole picture, not just the funny parts. Because we're also talking about Saturn's here. Like, we're talking about death, you know, ultimately. Which is not a fun thing to go through and experience. Yeah, there might be an aspect later on where, like, you can find that those things were essential. But, like, while you're experiencing them, it fucking sucks. And it hurts. And it's deep. And it's loss. And it's important to feel those things. And, you know, to embrace those things, and to let, like, to move through those things, and to have that be part of your experience. So, like, I can't just sit here and make light of it. You know, that's why this card fell directly under the card I was laughing at. I'm sorry for laughing. I'm sorry for finding it so humorous. It is arrogant, and that's not right. It's not for me to take pride in other people's karma, you know, even if it's somebody that did me wrong, and then to see them reaching their lows because of it. Like, it's something I can be thankful for, that justice exists, that divine judgment exists. But, like, when it's been called on me, it's not like it's been a fun thing. And those who have taken pride and joy in that have hurt me and been wicked for that. So I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done that. That was wicked of me. It was. I can't take it back. The best I can do is not continue it. So then we have Grill. So what I'm getting out of Grill is, if it were in the upright, would be like intricacies, right? It's protection. It's a filter. It's not just ornamental. It serves as it serves a purpose, but it appears to be ornamental. It appears to be ornamental, but it actually serves a purpose, a deeper purpose, for protection. In the reverse, what I'm seeing as I put it in the reverse is that these trees, these pine trees, in the reverse, like, they resemble arrows. They resemble arrows anyways, but I didn't notice until I had it in the reverse. This is the right hand. Okay, so there's an illusion of something or someone, like, attractive or fun that was actually being used for a very negative purpose. Right? And that's why there's this feeling of, like, this person being shady. And, like, you don't necessarily notice what their task at hand is because they're not carrying a bow. but they are carrying an arrow. They do have their weapon. It's just magic. It's a cult. It's being hidden. Like how I thought that they had night vision goggles. And they do, but it's not actually night vision goggles. They just have night vision. They have fucking cat eyes. I wish that this card was giving me positive energy. I want it to, but it's not. It's giving me very much like this energy can't be trusted. Slick, quiet. You know, they're riding in on a deer, which like are known, like you don't necessarily, you might hear a twig crack, right? But like deer live for moving around in the woods. You don't always even hear when they're walking around. If they're casually walking around, you'll hear them. But if they're trying to be quiet, they're like little rabbits. Like you won't even necessarily hear them. They're very sneaky. And this woodland person, like, is even sneakier. You know, these are just tools that they use in order to get the job done. They're a hunter. And they also have antlers themselves. They have these twig horns. So, yeah, they're definitely not to be trusted. They appear to be ornamental, but they serve a greater purpose. There's an intricacy and a complexity, and looking at that is very alluring. It's like, you know, when you have like those old vintage cars and like the grill on the front of the car is like ornate and beautiful. And it almost would look as if like the whole point of that, like if you were to like try to do what is that called? When you rebuild a car? When you like make it like new? I don't know why I can't think of the word. It's not rejuvenation, oh, I can't think of the word. You know what I'm talking about. But when you do that, like you might think like, oh, I don't really need the grill. That was just this fancy thing, and it's going to cost me $300, so I'm not going to put it on there. But like it served a greater purpose. It served as a protection for all of the shit directly behind it, which is like getting into the engine and everything, right? But it's in the reverse. King of Coins in the upright. Jesus Christ. Okay. You have the King of Coins in the upright, and it's fucking, what's that girl's name? The vampire marceline, I think her name is. It's her dad. So he's a vampire king. He's sitting here with his cowboy boots on. His cowboy boots have hearts on them. And he's in a fucking suit. And he's sitting on his throne. I don't know what his name is. On his throne are demon skulls and eyes. And mouths. Demon mouths. And above them is the letters H and A. I'm assuming like that it's kind of like the way that it is in the High Priestess card, where you have the two like columns behind her and they have the letters on them. That it's supposed to reference something specifically, or that it's like referencing like his name or something like that. But because I don't know, it just says haha. because it says it twice. It says H-A and H-A, so it says haha. And there's like all these little beastly demonic beings all around. His kingdom is... He's got a tower in the back, he's got mountains in the back, he's got volcanoes, and there's just fire everywhere, and all these little beastly things are like dying and running from each other and tormenting each other. And there's green clouds in the back, and there's like these green rays coming out of the clouds. And there's this weird giant squid-like, it's like a blimp, but it's a squid. It reminds me of a fucking Silt Strider from Morrowind, only it's cut in half, and you can see all of its intestines, and you can see its tongue and shit. And this is the King of Coins, the King of Pentacles, and he has his pentacle. He's also got a big old fucking smile on his face, okay? And so it's giving... What I had asked in order to get this card was like, I wanted to know more about this Knight of Wands. And because for a second, as I noticed that Grill was in the reverse, I was like, okay, the message that I got was that, like, is... This person was being used as a distraction, essentially, like a protection method and a distraction. But since it's in the reverse, it was like, okay, so are they making the choice themselves to kind of not do that, and to almost, like, whatever tricks they have up their sleeve, they're actually using against this toxic mother energy? Because that's the way that they're looking, too. It's towards this toxic mother energy. But because she's in the reverse, they're kind of looking past her as well and looking at this guy that didn't use his tools right and is causing a lot of chaos because of it. So it almost seems like they feel like they should use whoever they were trying to come against at first. Yeah, that was at first, though. And the thing is that, like, so this guy that would have been using his music as a weapon is in the reverse. But he's also, because he's in the reverse, like the Eight of Wands and he are headed directly at this Knight of Wands, right? And the Knight of Wands, I don't think, even realizes that. This card. So then, but like when I ask, like, okay, so are they turning a leaf? Are they not being bad, and are they being good? Essentially, are they using this power for good, even though it seems super sketch? Like, that's what I want them to be doing, but it's not up to me. So, like, is that what's going on here? But, like, I'm not really getting good vibes from this card. I'm kind of getting selfish vibes from this card. Ultimately, good is being done because judgment is being called and justice is being had, right? But what it looks like is that they... give me these vibes of like they were getting paid, or, you know, in some degree, some sort of wealth, some sort of benefit they were receiving for essentially working for this toxic mother energy to go against I don't think it's to go against this guy, though. I think this guy was part of it, and he just doesn't know what he's doing, and that's why everybody's freaking out. He was supposed to be part of it. He's at a party with a fucking piñata. He was supposed to be beating the piñata, but he's potentially beating everybody else with it, right? So I just asked who who is this Knight of Wands being hired, like they're a hunter, who are they being hired to hunt? Or what? Who or what? And this card just came out, the Queen of Swords in the upright. I don't know who this character is in the show, but she's in the Ice King's castle. She could be the Ice King's daughter. She looks very cool. She's very cool. She's an ice princess. She's got her ice sword. She's sitting on a throne with the penguins. But the Queen of Swords is like the Queen of Truth. She's giving me, but she's cold. So like, because she's cool. She's so cool. Which is interesting too, because this Eight of Wands character with the music, he's ice. He's ice. He looks like water, but he's actually solid, and his head is cracked. And she's kind of, it's almost like she's just sitting comfy on her throne, having the truth. She just has the truth, and she's just sitting comfy on her throne with it. But because of the sunglasses, it almost seems like she's kind of unaware of all of this stuff that's happening just underneath the surface. Right? But I asked, and this is who this hunter is supposed to be hunting. But either the hunter's not getting, for some reason they're looking past the toxic queen, and maybe it's just that they don't trust them, or they just are tired of working for them. Or maybe it's just not even about them. Maybe this hunter like thinks that the Queen of Cups in reverse is not paying attention. She's got this baby, right? So maybe it's just because she's not paying attention, and they're saying that she's not paying attention, and that in her not paying attention, you got this guy out here who's supposed to be working with them, and he's actually working against them. And so it's making this hunter be like, I'm about to have to start some shit. And then this being like a clarifier for that is like, because they're going against just being a distraction and just being a protection. Which, like, I get the impression that, like, you know, if they're all related, then, like, it almost would seem that, like, the toxic queen is, like, the one that set this up. And this Knight of Wands is supposed to be the one, like, kind of doing the task of taking out this Queen of Swords. But they just don't trust that things are being run the right way. They're not paying attention to the Queen of Swords at all. In fact, they almost look similar to the Queen of Swords, but in the reverse. Not in the reverse, but like the opposite. So it's almost like, I mean, they're not thinking of this Queen of Swords at all. They're looking at this other character that is supposed to be working for them that's actually working against them. And because they're paying attention to that, and they're being a bit greedy about it though. Like, they either see that there's an abundance that they can get out of hunting this person instead, or Or they're just trying to take total control. And they're like, you know what? I can do this whole thing better. I'm going to be the last one laughing. And they're unaware that this Eight of Wands in the reverse is headed right towards them. But in the reverse, it's almost like I said, right? Like they would be using their magic as a power, or their music as a power, their music as a weapon. It's in the reverse, which would make me feel like I think it's actually in the reverse because so the Queen of Cups is in the reverse because she's not in her motherly energy, but the other cards are all in the upright, and it's connecting them that way. Where like this Eight of Wands is also in the reverse, which almost makes me feel like it's just because he's not doing what he was told to do or was intended to do. He's going against that. He's fighting this other battle. He's going to do this other thing. And because he's ice, not only is he ice, but it almost looks like he's like leaving an ice area and then he's like running with these sticks and he's like running into like a non-ice area. You know, he's running through and it's not like he's in the ice kingdom. So it's giving me, like, in the reverse, it's almost giving me that, like, the sense of victory still, only because he's pointed towards this Knight of Wands. So, like, but instead of being a victory towards his intuition, or it's empathy for everything that's happening, instead of empathizing with everything that's happening, he's coming towards this Knight of Wands, and he's doing it to create a distraction or a diversion. Yeah, but it's in the reverse as well. So he's doing it to get rid of the distraction and the diversion. It's almost like if he does this, like, this guy's already doing a good enough job bringing everything down unaware. So it's almost like if he takes care of this hunter that he is the only one that seems to be aware of, this guy will pretty much finish off the job and the truth can then come out, because the Queen of Wands in the reverse and with this baby is preoccupied and is also like not really capable of doing, she doesn't have any weapons, she's a nurse, like she doesn't really have any means to do anything. And really the worst thing about her is just that she's a toxic mother energy. But there is something going on here. This hunter, like, obviously, like, it's a hunter, and I don't think they've just necessarily decided on their own to do this, because why else would the Queen of Cups be out here? And she's in the center of the reading, so it's almost like she's started this, and she's the one setting it up. But it seems like it's falling apart. The fact that this is coming after me having called judgment is letting me know that, I think I just said everything pretty clearly. If you know, then you know. It's a shame. This is part of why, like, intuition is out here. Like this. With the three tiers, right? It's because, like, this all has to be done and to come to pass, and it's everybody playing their own part in karma. Everybody receiving all their karma, receiving all their dharma, receiving things the way that it is destined to be. Destiny is playing out. But it's like because of their roles in these things, there's still judgment being called on everyone, you know? And like, what that looks like for some is fine. Is like, oh, finally I have the truth. Now I can sit back comfortably because I'm finally know. And I feel very cool, calm, and collected. I feel great. that this is known and that this is seen now. Now I can just chill out. But for some, it looks like bringing a certain justice and then having that karma that they're working out actively. For some, it looks like not having learned the lesson from the first person and then taking it onto themselves, thinking that they're going to get something out of it, and they're about to be completely sideswiped, like completely, what's it called? Blindsided by karma. I still can't, that one card is only because that person is so unaware of what they've been involved in. So their karma is going to look like, once they're done swinging around those shovels and traumatizing everybody at this party, they're going to take their blindfold off and they're going to be like, oh shit, what have I done? Didn't look like they were doing too much damage, thankfully, but just creating a lot of chaos. But that's going to be their karma, right? The karma for the entire party involved was that one of their own is wreaking havoc in the party. This is no longer a fun party. Now everybody's terrified. That's their own karma. The karma for the toxic mother is that this entire plan to feel some type of way is just absolutely crumbling. Nothing's going to add up the way that she anticipated. And yeah, but in all of that, it's important that we, intuition is like trusting yourself, trusting your own wisdom, but it's in that image is like trusting your feelings, but also like being willing to empathize, staying humble, receiving whatever comes to you with grace. And the grill in reverse is like not falling for the illusions or the distractions. Or the false sense of protection. That's what about like being arrogant. That's why my ancestors are like, don't be arrogant. It's like these things are working themselves out consistently. I might be receiving justice to some degree, but if I start acting like a haughty cunt about it, I'm probably not going to receive the same justice, because you're not going to get grace when you're ungracious. You're not going to get love if you're not being loving. You're not going to get abundance if you're not in an abundant energy yourself. So like, it's about keeping oneself in the right energy in order to, make sure that everything comes to pass in one's favor. What's going to happen is going to happen regardless, but like I said, if you have listened to the universe the right way and followed things the right way, you will find yourself behind judgment as it's being called on those that stand before it. But it's all determined on, where you choose to stand and how you choose to follow the direction of which you're led. So, yeah, that's a good reminder, and I appreciate it. And again, I am perfect. I am sorry for being cunty, for finding pleasure in the downfall of others. It doesn't matter how much they've done against me. If that's the case, like, it doesn't make me any better to be that way. So it's not about being better than anybody either. It's about just letting things be, but like, put love into the situation. Don't put pride and what would you even call that? It's not greed. It's like, but this like pleasure in other people's downfall. Like, don't put that into a situation. That's the energy we don't want to see. You know, or you're just asking for karma yourself. I mean, the wheel keeps turning. So don't just think you're good just because justice is coming and judgment is coming, right? There's always work that has to be done. You know? So, yeah, that's what I got. That's what I got for this reading. Again, the alarm is sounding. Judgment is here. Dad's home. So I would recommend that you get right with your highest power, and that you stay in your highest power. You know, it just showed you it's very easy to fall out of it. Repent, and don't fall back into it. And if you do repent, continue to do that until you're no longer in that energy. That's the best option any of us have for any of these things. So no matter where you related in that message, that's the ultimate moral of the story. All right, thanks for listening, and I shall see you soon.